People said it was trashy to leave my pumpkin up during Christmas, and I agreed, so I did something that might make them even more mad. I began by cutting 2 sheets of plywood into 12 2-foot squares. I then used those squares to create a cube that I tack welded in place with a brad nailer. I went back over the joints with screws to make sure everything was strong and secure. I drilled pilot holes for each screw to prevent splitting, but sometimes you just can't win. And before I put the lid on my box, I sealed all the corners inside with white paintable silicone. I then closed it up and added more silicone to the outside joints and end grain to prevent water damage from snow and rain. I repeated these steps and created a second smaller box and painted them both with flat white exterior paint. I put a small heater in my garage so everything would dry out for our next steps. I covered the top of my larger box with blue masking tape and cut out 3 squares that I painted with various different colors, starting with a deep black, then space gray, and finally I sprayed the last corner of each square with a lighter, brighter gray. I then drew vertical lines to make a grid that was the same width as the tape I was using. I marked and cut out various pixels from every side and hand removed at least 167 of them. I then painted the entire cube with high gloss clear coat so that when I painted off the rest of the blue tape, it would give my cube an almost holographic look. I carried over my second box and did the same, but I was just getting started. After putting in all that work to keep everything sealed, I drilled a hole in the top and bottom of each box for cables to run through and cleaned up the wood shavings as I went. I tested the fitment before drilling my last hole, but something was off, so I removed the top box and applied adhesive weather strips to prevent water from finding its way in. At this point, I remembered I forgot these things usually have arms, so I grabbed a spare butcher block slab and cut off a square strip. I then measured the middle of my stick and marked an angled cut using Vibe. I sanded and applied my favorite food-safe waterproof wood finish, Odie's oil, to protect my sticks from sun and rain. I then drilled 3 holes in each stick and stamped where I needed to add pilot holes so I could attach my new arms. I added metal brackets to keep my boxes together, then went outside to battle the Enderman that lives in my front yard. I stole the pumpkin he's been holding for months. I fused it to the top of my snowman body and wheeled it outside so I could put it in place. So what do you think? Is it still bad to leave my pumpkin outside during the holidays?